Hey everybody, this is Molly Cook here with your latest edition of the Marne Report. Today I'm here with Jeff and Brian from DPW Forestry Branch. Thanks for coming, guys.
Hey, nice to see you.
No problem.
So, what exactly does the Forestry Branch do?
Well, we do, like the name states, we manage the forest, and we do it for the benefit of the soldier. Army owns the land, so we conduct forest management to enhance and improve military training on a landscape level. So Fort Stewart being 279,000 acres and Hunter Field another 5,400. That's over 250,000 acres that we manage to create a safe and realistic training environment for the troops. 3rd Infantry Division, that type of maneuver needs a lot of wide open country so they can see, they can maneuver by thinning the forest, thinning the timber, and also by conducting prescribed burns. We're keeping that forest open, and so they can conduct maneuvers. And some of that prescribed burning also reduces hazardous fuels, what we call hazardous fuels. That's just the forest vegetation. So when we do have wildfires, it's not a matter of if, it's when. We're having them on our own conditions and on our own terms. And we also build logging roads and forest roads. We maintain them, and the soldiers get the benefit of being able to use those, so that's a secondary benefit. We generate our own income through these timber revenues, so these timber sales get provided to the outside commercial timber markets. So it's just our local loggers in our region that get to bid on this timber, buy this timber, and then sell it to a sawmill or a pulp mill. So we're really actually helping the local economy by doing this as well. So a lot of folks benefit. We have quite a few threatened and endangered species on Fort Stewart, and by federal law, the Army, just like anyone else, has to abide by the Endangered Species Act. So the type of work that we do also manipulates the ecosystem and the habitat of not only these endangered species, but also all game animals or all wildlife, including game animals, so it's good for the hunters. So, but one important thing is by, improving threatened and endangered species habitat, we're also helping to remove training restrictions from soldiers. So our sister branch, the Fish and Wildlife Branch, does a lot of wonderful work with red cockaded woodpecker and some of the other endangered species out here. And we've been able to actually recover the Fort Stewart population of the red cockaded woodpecker, or RCW, and that has removed training restrictions for soldiers. So again, forest management, everything we do here on Fort Stewart is to benefit the training mission, as well as threatened and endangered species habitat, the longleaf pine wiregrass ecosystem. It's very imperiled. There's only about 3% of that left, what was historically here nationwide, which it used to extend from Texas to Virginia. Fort Stewart actually has the largest longleaf pine forest in the state of Georgia.
Wow.
So we're very proud of all the folks that we have working for us and with us at Forestry. Everybody's very dedicated and very passionate about what they do, and everybody knows why we're here, and that's to support the soldier.
That's fantastic. So you mentioned controlled burning earlier, or prescribed burns. Can you tell us a little bit about when the next prescribed burn is going to happen?
Yes, the next prescribed burn we'll actually start prescribed burning December 1st, and that'll go through June 30th. We'll start with our ranges typically in December and January during the holiday shutdown. We'll try to fireproof those ranges first while the soldiers are on vacation for the holiday season. So we'll be burning the entire time that they're gone. And we normally burn about 44,000 acres of ranges every year. So when the soldiers are out training and they're shooting, tracers or whatnot, that the wildfire risk is drastically reduced. We'll also respond to wildfires, throughout the entire year. Starting in growing season, we'll kind of focus on the endangered species like Jeff had just mentioned. We'll start hitting a lot of maneuver areas, and we'll focus on opening those areas up as well.
Great. So what can somebody expect to see during a controlled burn? I know when I first came to Fort Stewart and experienced my very first controlled burn, I thought the whole place was on fire. That is clearly, I guess it is kind of the case, but also not the case. So what can folks around the area expect during those periods of time?
Most of the time, they're just going to see smoke, and the smoke's our biggest impact, I guess, on Fort Stewart. So we try to plan very much on trying to get the smoke away from populated areas. But sometimes the wind switches. We're I guess part-time meteorologists trying to predict the weather, but we try to make sure the smoke's going to go where it needs to, and accomplish the goal of the burn. Obviously, it's a controlled burn, so we have it under control. We know where it's going to be, and like Jeff said, we do it on our terms. So the weather plays a major factor in that. So yeah, if you just see smoke on the road, just slow down. We'll have controlled burn signs out along the road, and so just please pay attention.
Perfect. And then a lot of what forestry does, just from what you guys have described here today, clearly positively impacts the installation. So can you describe just a little bit more into detail about
as we're forest management in itself, if it weren't even for managing, say, for the Army here or a training mission, is just something that's healthy for the forest. You can see a lot of places that don't get proper forest management. You see things like devastating wildfires like what we've experienced this past summer in California. That's something that can certainly happen here, and we've had issues like that when the weather was conducive for bad wildfires. As well as if forests aren't properly thinned and managed, you have insect and disease outbreaks, which can destroy vast acreages and just continue. And then not only have you essentially set back an entire forest for generations, you've also created a health concern for the rest of the forest. You've created extra fuel, I mentioned before. So now you'll have all this dead and down material on the ground that is a fire hazard for future wildfires, much more difficult to control. And then again, you've lost that revenue stream. So once again, this is all done for the soldier, and I guess one thing I didn't really mention is I said we generate revenue, and by federal law, that revenue that is generated by Army forestry programs must go back to Army forestry programs. So the money is fenced. It can't be just used for building new barracks or repairing roads on post. It can only go back to Army forestry programs. So basically, the Army is getting large-scale landscape management at very low cost. It's a good cost avoidance program. So, and again, having the largest forestry program really on the largest Army installation east of the Mississippi, it takes a lot of folks and a lot of effort to keep that going.
Well, this is a really great program, and we all surely appreciate what you guys are doing. If anybody has any questions or they want more information about the Forestry Branch, where can they go?
They could go to Fort Stewart's Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram. We also have a website.
Excellent. Well, thank you both so much for being here with me today. That is it for this week's edition of the Marne Report, and we will see you guys next time.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.